Hello and Om Shanti once again. I hope that you all are going to enjoy today's lesson, the objective to which is to make us more socially aware and responsible citizens of our great nation. Today we are going to do a poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Sir Stephen Spender, an English poet, essayist and a great novelist who lived across 20th century. 20th century was an era of great technological and scientific advancement, change and innovation, which dramatically affect the lives of people who lived in that time, and so it did. Some of these changes were good and some of these changes were not so good. So it was left with the people like Stephen Spender also to bring out the anomalies existed in the society that time. So let's read through the poem and try to understand as to what the poet is trying to expose about glaring gaps and marginalization existing in the society. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with a weighed-down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease. His lesson from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room. Other than this, on sour cream walls, donations. Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belled, flory, trialous valley. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures fainted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes and stars of words. Surely, Shakespeare is wicked. The map, a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass, like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break, oh break, open. Break, oh break, open till they break the town and show the children to green fields and make their world run ashore on gold sands, and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open. History is there whose language is the sun. History is there whose language is the sun. So this was the reading of the poem. The poet aims to portray the conditions of the youngsters residing in the slum area. The poet compares the haves and have-nots, means the privileged and underprivileged children. In the first stanza, when he says far, far away from gusty waves, he says that the children staying in slums have a life full of struggle, without any hope, without any optimism. They are far away from the velvety and cushioned world, although the meaning of gusty waves means breezy winds, and breezy winds here signifies that they are far away from the velvety and the cushioned world. They lack those amenities which are available to privileged people. They are quite unwanted. They are just like, so a beautiful competition is made over here when he says that they are like rootless weeds. They are as unwanted as rootless weeds. They can only wish for the aristocratic world, aristocratic life outside the world. They have no hope on their faces. Their faces are tousled and dirty. Their hair is scattered untidily around their pale faces because they lack stability. And there is the example of a girl is mentioned over here when he says that a girl sitting over there, you can see the line, the tall girl with a weighed down head. In fact, he wants to say that there is a girl, it seems she is so overburdened or she is so depressed that she is sitting with her head down in the class. Another example of a boy is there who is so lean and thin as if a paper. Okay. And he in fact is compared to a paper because he is underdeveloped and having a malnourished body. He is an unfortunate heir who has inherited the twisted bones of his father. So it symbolizes that he belongs to a diseased generation. And he is not at all reciting a lesson from the back of the class, but in fact he is enumerating that he is belonging to a diseased generation. Okay, so at the back of the dim class, one example is given of the another child sitting in the classroom, that he is quite unnoticed. Although he is sweet and young, yet he is unnoticed. He always goes unnoticed because his eyes have the sparks of dreams to be the parts of the different world outside the classroom. He dreams in fact of being like a squirrel. He wants to get that freedom just like a squirrel who plays in its tree room. So he actually dreams to have the places other than the repulsive classroom. He does not want to study, doesn't want to sit in that classroom. So he is fantasizing his own world where he plays like a squirrel. He is in fact not at all interested in the monotonous world, monotonous environment of the classroom. The second stanza begins with the line, "On sour cream walls donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized doom, riding all cities." The poet depicts here the critical condition of the pale and colorless dull classroom. He compares the color of the walls to sour cream. Sour cream in fact is the dull color. The room has a picture of Shakespeare which was probably gifted. Further, he compares the gifts given as donations hung on the unpleasant walls depicting dissection. To them, they are of no use. For the poor people, what will be the use of these pictures? So it's of no use. There is also a picture of a clear sky hung on the walls, depicts dawn and beautiful Tarlis Valley, which indicates beauty and hope with it. When you read between the lines, you will find that there is a world map hung in the classroom. Now, here the poet wants to say that there is no use of this map in the classroom as their world is narrow and stuck in the boundaries of poverty and miseries. Their future is completely dark, confined within the narrow streets of Slum, enclosed by the bluish-grey sky. They are far, far away from rivers, capes, seas that resemble adventure, excitement and beauty, as well as the stars that symbolize wisdom that can brighten their future if they are provided the opportunity to go ahead. So here we are finding open-handed map which means the poet wants to suggest here that the map which is drawn at the will by powerful people or the dictators like Hitler and awarding the world its world means how the conqueror here, dictators here award or define the world according to their choice. They divide in fact the world according to their whims and fancies. Next stanza begins with the line, surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. The poet feels that Shakespeare is wicked, is useless for them, as he is misleading them through his words portraying the world of ships, sun and love, which is not only unreal for them, but they have a negative impact on their minds. So he feels that this world is instigating them to steal or to take unfair means because of their desperate attempt to come out of, to escape from the world of poverty. Now, he's saying that, the poet says that they are also malnourished, they are so skinny that it appears that they have worn their skins. The spectacles they are wearing have glass which have been broken into pieces and later on mended, which reflects their misery and deprivation. The poet shows his indignation by suggesting that the maps should show them the world of reality. Means the reality of their life should be shown to them instead of beautiful scenic graphics shown to them. Open-handed map. Open-handed map in fact suggests the map drawn at the will of the rich people, the powerful people, the dictators like Hitler. Awarding the world its world means here the conquerors and the dictators award the world, define the world, explain the world according to their choice, according to their whims and fancy. In fact, they divide the world. Coming to the last stanza, unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break open till they break the town. The poet here tries to appeal the teacher, governor, inspector and visitor. He in fact invokes these people because they are powerful, who can bring a drastic change in the lives of these poor children. So he is appealing that they should be aware, a little more sensitive to understand the problems of these children, and so that they can improve the conditions of these deprived children. They must try to bridge the gap between the worlds of rich and poor. Here he says this map becomes their window, and these windows, this map refers to the beautiful world of the rich people. So he says that their windows in fact are the windows of the dark or the stinking lanes or the hutments or shabby lanes that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Actually, a very beautiful simile is used to show the oppressive effect of the surroundings similar to the catacombs. So he says here that the bureaucrats and the authorities can understand their moral responsibilities to free these deprived children from the world of, from the traps of their graves. So this is a metaphor for the slum. He wants that all these children should be given opportunity to come out of their narrow hutments, the shabby lanes, and extend to the blue sky of the prosperity. They must be given the freedom to experience the wholesome bounties of the nature and show the children to green fields and make their world. So he wants that they should also be given the opportunity to enjoy the nature. These deprived children, in fact, he says, that should also be given the proper opportunity to study. They should have the warmth in their language. They can understand properly if they are given the chances to study properly so that they can hope for the better future, secured future. So let them find their place in the sun. So last line, if you see, it's a clear-cut message given through the metaphor history theirs whose language is the sun. The line in fact contains a vital truth that the world does not listen to dumb and driven people, only those who speak with confidence, power, but with vision can be heard, and they are in fact obeyed also. So the poet wants to say that they can be given the chances to create history. They should have the warmth in their language so that they can create history, and they can be the good citizens rather than the criminals. So that's all is today's explanation. I hope you must have understood it well. So you stay updated and try to answer the questions given in your textbook. Till then, Om Shanti.